But anyways, thought we'd point that out. I don't know if that's going to mean anything.
What?
There was a note to bring that up.
We getting a update?
Oh.
Nice.
If Butterboy saw this episode and give an update, that'd be crazy.
Oh, no.
I hope he gave some tips.
All right. Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Well, so obviously expect some updates.
I'm so stoked. I love updates.
Updates are
It's always the best. Our first story. Am I the asshole? Told my coworker that she's falling for a romance scam, and now she's upset. My friend, let's call her N. N and I have worked together for 3 to 4 years at a hair salon. N is early 30s, kind of an airhead, gullible, but really kind and nice person. She's currently in a relationship with this guy for the last 6 months. He lives in New York. We're in the Midwest. They talk on the phone all the time. He's been out here a couple of times to visit. We've never met, but I have heard
who cheated investors out of billions, you might think Americans have wised up. Fat chance. Prosecutors and regulators tell us that even in this age of skepticism, Ponzi schemes like Madoff's are thriving. One regulator even calls it Ponzimonium. Why are there so many pigeons around? We asked a few people who should know. As a student of con games and deception, were you at all surprised by the Bernie Madoff scam?
Would you be surprised if I told you that I predicted it?
For starters, we approached Ricky Jay, America's foremost card sharp, actor, sleight of hand artist, a man with an encyclopedic knowledge of con men past and present. He told us of a talk he gave 7 years before Madoff's fall.
Beware of someone well established in the industry.
A lecture on financial fraud.
How much has happened in the last month? And the big problem is that we share one atmosphere. All of humanity's eggs are in one basket.
So what needs to happen to get me a future?
So I think Elon is 100% right. We got to get to another sphere. But he's being a complete when it comes to science, and he's being a total hero when it comes to engineering. But you can't engineer your way to the stars with the science we have. But physics opens the universe to you. But we have a real problem. A new idea in physics changes the balance of power in the world. The desire of our government is to get the science to give us as much power as possible. But then they castrate the scientists, belittle them, destroy their families, their lives, their ability to earn, because our government isn't good enough to keep its own secrets. My employer was a special informant to the FBI. There's a doctrine that says physicists don't have free speech. They're stopping the world's most important group from making progress. Physics is the only thing that's going to get your future.
Is it badly? A world where it's going to be a lot of control, a lot of surveillance, a lot of forced compliance, and a hunger for power, greed, ego. And it is happening already. But the truth is, the only barrier between a utopia for humanity and AI and the dystopia we're going through is a mindset.
What does society have to do?
First of all,
I see messages all the time in the comments section that some of you didn't realize you didn't subscribe. So if you could do me a favor and double check if you're a subscriber to this channel, that would be tremendously appreciated. It's the free thing that anybody that watches this show frequently can do to help us here, to keep everything going in this show in the trajectory it's on. So please do double check if you subscribed. And thank you so much, because in a strange way, you're part of our history and you're on this journey with us. And I appreciate you for that. So yeah, thank you. Mo, 2 years ago today, we sat here and discussed AI. We discussed your book, Scary.
These places where there's a bunch of, sort of downtrodden girls that are having to work there because they're down on their luck and they desperately need some money. And then these kind of misogynistic men turn up that are really rough and ready and very confident and arrogant, and they're sort of throwing money at these poor girls and ordering them around and all that kind of thing. Now, I'm sure sometimes that goes on, but I'm just talking about my experience. So the strip club I worked in made the majority of its money from men who were generally single, very lonely, and probably had never had a girlfriend. And this was kind of a girlfriend experience for those guys. So they would turn up, they were very, very scared and humble at the door. I used to have to go
from me
so many things that I've learned, and I've boiled it down to these 20 so you don't have to suffer like I did. So the crazy thing about it is, look at this handout here. TransUnion says that just about half of the rental properties out there are managed by the owners. They are self-managed. So today's video is going to help you manage your own property without having to go out and hire a management company, because a lot of times those people, they're not going to do you right anyway. You got to find the right ones. So let's get right down to it. Number one, allowing pets roundup, allowing pets. I remember when I was starting out, I wanted my tenants to think that I was a good landlord, right? Perhaps I had their best interest at heart, allowing them to have tenants. But let me tell you what happened to me. I had a friend, she had a pit bull. You know, dogs like to jump up on the front door, the screen door. She was jumping on the screen door.
And I felt really trapped at times, but I didn't know how to escape. And I know a lot of people are probably hearing this and thinking, I'm also in that place. And so I really feel like my purpose is to help as many people to go from feeling trapped to freeing themselves and using money to do that. Wasn't expecting that.
Okay, so people are hungry for easy money tips, and these stay the same regardless of how much you earn. So we could talk about the Peace of Mind Fund, and doing that puts you ahead of 59% of Americans. Then there's building your emergency buffer, and this does more for your emotional well-being than earning over 200K. But with the way cost of living is going, you cannot save your way to retirement. So this is when you want to move on to investing. That is the easiest way to make money. And my principle with investing is very, very simple, and it's just...
Listen, to my regular listeners, I know you don't like it when I ask you to subscribe at the start of these conversations.
Foreign ally contacted CIA and said, you have somebody inside your organization sharing information on operations, officers, assets to an enemy country. They deployed us to the country and crafted new identities, new aliases, so that we could build new sources of intelligence and try to find the mole.
And we were really successful in doing that.
Nobody felt like they were in imminent danger, but then that changed. My presence in the enemy country became known. I called G and said, "That's coming over early."
And from that, I knew that something was wrong. Because it is very real that you can be disappeared by a foreign adversary.
Or worse, being captured. And the president can plausibly deny that you're CIA. So I had to try to escape the country. But everything went wrong.
And what happens next?
A horrible story. So...
This is the first time I'm setting you at home a challenge when you listen to this episode. Can you figure out which country Andrew and Jihi were?
Meraviglioso di Jean-Jacques Rousseau quando dice non posso minimamente immaginare che ci sia un essere umano simile a me. Quindi vuol dire che ognuno di noi, ecco, è se stesso. E da lì io sono partito sempre, cercando di portare a casa questo universalismo del mondo, indipendentemente dalla cultura, dalla lingua. Io vado in un luogo e vorrei vivere come persone che vivono in quel luogo. Significa grande rispetto per ogni essere umano.
Ho trovato curioso, dimmi se è vero o ho visto un dato sbagliato, che tu non sei un esperto di Kashmir, cioè io pensavo che tu fossi partito come magari super esperto di Kashmir e hai detto ok, adesso faccio un'azienda partendo da...
Behind this scheme is a vast network of mafiosos, psychics, strip club owners, and Mormons. But one mastermind sits at the center of it all. He holds the keys to the treasure and rakes in most of the profits. He's known by most as Uncle Jerry. How did he do it?
It's the Monopoly game, only at McDonald's. With over 50 million prizes, it's supersized excitement.
Starting in 1987, McDonald's launched the Monopoly promotion and started